beautiful people, and welcome back to Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I am a certified sommelier with the mission of spreading wine knowledge and helping you to drink better. Today we're looking into the different styles of champagne that you can find on the market. I personally really love champagne, and people often look at it as a region that just produces one style, but within that one style of bubbly there is a whole range of expressions that you can find, and depending from region to region within Champagne, producer to producer, a large house, a small house, a blend of vintages, just one vintage, the world truly is your oyster. So to start off, the grapes that you will find in Champagne. Now most people know about the big three, the Chardonnay, Pinot Noir and the Meunier. These are the grapes that you will mostly find. They are the most common. Chardonnay brings a lot of finesse and elegance to the wine, a little bit of florality, quite often some brioche and toasty notes as well. Pinot Noir brings the kind of structure and body to the wine and adds a lot of richness. And Meunier is the fun, approachable one, usually really fruity, and this is a champagne that is delicious in its youth. But apart from these three grapes, there are four others that can be used as well. They aren't so common and they can't be used everywhere. There are rules and regulations around where they can be grown, and they do only account for 0.3% of the plantings, but they are still very important. Those four grapes are Arbein, Petit Mesler, Pinot Gris, and Pinot Blanc Vari, which is a true form of white Pinot Noir. Now you won't see these grapes that often, but I mean, if you can find, I've had 100% Pinot Blanc, Blanc de Blanc, was fantastic. If you can find them, they're definitely worth searching out. Now into the different styles that you can find in Champagne. The most common style you'll find is a non-vintage. This accounts for 3/4 of the champagne market. This is what you'll find often in the supermarket, on a restaurant wine list if they don't have such a large dedicated champagne selection. At the pub, this is what most people will drink, especially when you're starting out in Champagne. This is a blend of vintages, so that's what non-vintage means. It comes from a huge array of years. And it's the blender's job to ensure consistency from year to year. So if you buy a bottle of champagne this year that's non-vintage and you really like it, you should be able to buy it in 5 years' time and it should taste pretty much the same. These wines are generally brut in style, so they are dry, and they are a really good introduction into the larger champagne houses. Try the non-vintage style and you get to see the true house expression. Next, we have vintage. This comes from 100% of 1 year. The better houses will declare a vintage only in the really great years. These wines are often brut and they can be very, very age-worthy. They are usually going to be a lot more expensive as well. Then we have the Prestige de Cuvées, or Tête de Cuvée. This is a little step up from vintage. Prestige Cuvée doesn't have to be a vintage wine, but it can be if the winery decides on that. They are often released only in the very, very best years, and they will sometimes undergo a more traditional vinification process, such as barrel fermentation, riddling by hand, or using a cork as the closure for a second fermentation. Now many wineries will produce their Prestige Cuvée from their own vineyards instead of buying the grapes from growers in Champagne, which is really super common. Now sometimes the Prestige Cuvée may be a single vineyard, and they can be any style. You can have them a blend, a Blanc de Blanc, a Blanc de Noir, or even a rosé in style. Speaking of the styles, so we have a Blanc de Blanc, which I personally really truly love, so keep that in mind for my birthday, which is in a few months. Blanc de Blancs must be 100% from white grapes. They can be non-vintage or vintage, and Blanc de Blanc champagnes represent some of the region's most age-worthy wines. In their youth, they can be quite steely and austere, but the better examples develop an intense bouquet as they age. Then we have Blanc de Noirs, which is a white wine produced solely from black grapes. These wines usually have a lot of richness, intensity and weight, but they do lack a little bit of the elegance and finesse that you find in a Blanc de Blanc. Then we have rosé. So just as you have a rosé still wine, this is often made from red or black grapes. But here's a little bit different. Champagne is the only appellation in France where you are allowed to blend white and red wine together to make a rosé. Rosé in Champagne is often done by blending with that production style, but some producers will do the traditional saignée, so the bleeding off, to create a more elegant and finesse kind of style. That is all from today. I hope you really enjoyed learning a little bit about the different styles of champagne. If you have any comments or questions, I will see you below in the comment section. And remember to subscribe to my video because I've got a lot of wine education on the way. Anyway, until next time, and remember, drink better, be better.